Hello and welcome to my July energy forecast. My name is Megan Alton and I use numerology to help you understand what's happening, to help you see what energies are coming up and what you can really do to use those energies to support you. You see, we're surrounded by currents of energy constantly, and these currents of energy are here to support us. They are here to help us fulfill our goals. They are here to help us experience our desires, the things we want to have in life. And so when you understand what those currents of energy are, you can choose mindfully to work with them. They're not here to boss you around or tell you what to do. Okay. The universe isn't bossy. You have free will, you have choice. You get to choose to co create with them or ignore them, whatever you want. But if you hear anything that feels like it could support you in some of the things you're working on, then lean into that. And here's the thing, when you listen to this forecast, I really want you to do so with the lens of number one, having your own intuition turned on. This is meant to be a co creation with me and with your intuitive energy. So let your intuition be turned on. Let it guide you through this. And number two, with your desires. So what are the things you want? What are the things you're creating? What are the things you're manifesting? What are the goals you're working on? Think about what those are, and then think about what I share in the context of that. Okay, so June, we just wrapped up June. June was a 4 energy month. It was a lot about structures, right? And there was a lot of density and heaviness happening in June. So if you felt some heaviness, if you felt some grief, if you felt some relationship crumbling stuff going on, recognizing that that was like an energetic alignment. We love to judge the good and the bad. Like, I want more of the good and less of the bad. And I get it, like me too, who doesn't? But part of our experience here is to experience this level of contrast so that we can actually know, you know what freedom is because you've experienced the absence of it. You know what love is because you've experienced the absence of it. So not judging some of those difficult experiences you might have had in June, but recognizing they came up to be acknowledged and released. This was some of the crumbling systems that needed to be let go of. And now, as we move into July, we are in a 5 energy month. And for those of you who already know this, 5 energy is often a very welcome energy for a lot of people because it's lighter. It tends to indicate playfulness and freedom and change and adventure and fun. And it's often archetyped as like the energy of the inner child. So if you like change and freedom and adventure, you're going to like the lightness that July brings in. But it is something that wants us to co create with it again. If you are kind of trying to push a rock up a hill and being overly rigid and structured in July, it's not really going to be your friend, right? It's like, how can you let go of some of the heaviness and structure that you have in your life? Yeah, maybe it was meant to support you, but maybe we went a little too far in one direction and now we're looking to find the balance, right? So, yay, you definitely saw where it needed to be, showing you where to be more responsible in your action. That is such a powerful lesson to learn. And, you know, as humans, we are very kinesthetic. We want to learn through experience. When we feel and experience things, we learn them, we make sense of them. And that's going to be more true or less true for you, depending on what your code is, what your number is. But if you happen to be a very physical number, or if you happen to carry a lot of energy in the physical plane, you want to feel the kinesthetic experiences. So you want to see it. And that was 4. 4 is a physical number, right? That was June. Well, July is 5. So July is a very emotional based number. It's a felt sense number. It wants compassion. It wants heart to heart connection. It wants us to feel each other. So for those of you on here who are sensitive to energy, who are empathic, who can feel energy, right? Who have that clairsentience ability, who just sense things, right, in your physicality, but it's like you feel it as an emotion, right? So if you feel that, this month is going to pull at your heartstrings a little bit, but it's seeking freedom. It's seeking adventure. It's seeking exploration. Oh, getting your first tattoo next week. That is a beautiful adventure that the 5 energy will just love, love, love. I think that's so, so beautiful. So really recognizing this is the month to just be like, what does the inner child in me want? If I wasn't bound by expectations and rules of society and like what I should be doing in massive air quotes, what would I do just for the fun of it, just for the heck of it, just for, having a good time, just for trying something different and not necessarily worry so much. The feeling I get is like giving ourselves permission to like kind of like integrate vacation mode, but in day-to-day life. You know how when you're on vacation, you tell me, when I'm on vacation, I tend to eat food I wouldn't normally eat. I tend to try things I wouldn't normally try, or I tend to, you know, wake up earlier and watch the sunrise, or stay up later and experience some like fun dancing music situation, right? So let yourself have that this month. And I know for those of us who like structure and routine in our lives, sometimes that feels at odds. Like, is it too disruptive? But bring in a little disruption. Bring in a little disruption this month and just be like, whatever, like, who cares? I'm just going to do it. And yeah, I might be tired tomorrow, but I'm going to just take a nap and it'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. Celebrating the acknowledgement of responsibility and giving myself a gold star for growing up a little, right? Giving yourself a gold star for growing up a little. And then here I am telling you, let the inner child free. But this is the pendulum that the numbers allow us to move through. We move through these like cycles, right? Where we cycle through these different things, integrating lessons. And it's like last month, integrating a bit of that responsibility, and this month, integrating a little bit more of the playfulness, right? So the wholeness that gets created from that is going to be so much more powerful and potent when we allow ourselves to play in different energy fields. Triple moon goddess, I love it. Oh, thank you guys so much. It's so wonderful being here with you. One of the key lessons that came through this month is let yourself do it differently. Don't do it the same as everybody else. Your code, your unique energy field is completely unique. So we have this weird thing where we see other people, on their journey, succeeding and killing it and all this stuff. And we think, well, I should be more like that, right? I was taking a training the other day and I heard some of the people say in the class, like, I'm not experiencing the same thing as the other people in the class. And so I feel behind. And if you've ever felt that, like, tell me if you felt that. Like, I'm not experiencing it the way I see other people experiencing it. So that must mean I'm late to the party. I'm behind. I've missed the boat. Like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm a beginner still. Like, no, this is the thing we don't understand. We are not meant to be copycats. The 5 energy is saying, be your unique self. Like, follow that urge in your heart and soul to do it differently. And if you don't look like the other people, that's a good thing. You're not meant to replicate them exactly. You're meant to take some of their medicine, filter it through your energy and your experiences, and express it in your way, right? Like the numerologists that I train and certify, they don't do numerology the same way I do. Thank goodness. We don't need a million replicas of me. We need you to be fully expressed in your own energy. So you take a little medicine from here and you take a little medicine from there and you run it through your energy and you come out being more fully expressed in your uniqueness, right? More fully expressed in your uniqueness. Do it your way. And this is so powerful. The secondary message behind this, that was the first message of do it differently. The secondary message behind it is stop following the consensus. Stop following the consensus. Let your inner rebel come out a little bit. Don't look for the approval and the consensus in the world around you. Like, that is going to replicate their scenario. And if you like their scenario, that's great. But if you don't like their scenario, don't replicate it. Don't look for their agreement. Don't look for their consensus. Don't look for their advice. Don't look for their guidance. Don't model yourself after them. Just shake it up a little bit. Let yourself be free. And so the 5 is really asking, like, free. Be free. Be free to be you. Like if you see someone do it a certain way and you're like, I like that, not that, give yourself permission. Nobody out there is going to give you like there's no like I bestow on you the power of doing it this way. No, you claim that. You take that for yourself. Right? So let yourself just be like fuck it. I'm going to like be a little bit of a rebel this month, right? Comment in the chat if you have an inner rebel voice. I know I am. I took one of those personality tests about a year and a half ago, and it was like, oh, you're the rebel. I'm like, no surprise. But all of us have these archetypal energies in us, and we can choose to activate and lean on them. Some of us might be stronger in others, and that's great. That's how our own medicine has mixed, which is beautiful. But the kind of, I guess, third message in this is when you receive guidance, advice, teachings from someone else, even if you just ask someone like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think? Before you take their guidance as truth, look at their life. Would you trade places with them? If you would not trade places with them, take their advice with a grain of salt. Take their advice with a grain of salt, because recognize their advice is steeped in the energy of their value system and the choices they've made in life. So if you like their choices and their value system, golden. That's great. Consider their input. Still run it through your code because you are unique and your code will not be the same as theirs, right? But if you don't like what they have going on, if you don't like what their relationship looks like, you don't like what their business looks like, you're not sure if you vibe with their values, it's okay to have preferences. That's not the same as judgment. But don't take their advice or seek their consensus, right? Recognizing that their consensus and their advice is going to be steeped in their experiences. So choose to receive guidance from people whose lives and experiences you find golden, you hold to like the highest regard, you have respect for. To me, this is an element of integrity, right? This is an element of integrity. Integrity just means wholeness, right? It's this idea of wholeness. And so when I receive guidance from a teacher, I want to look to their life and say, do I like their relationships? Do I like their value system? Do I like the way they express themselves? And if so, then maybe there's some medicine for me in that. Okay, I love this. I'm quickly looking at the chat here. You made it. Time to celebrate. Absolutely. Starting my month officiating a wedding in Miami. Both the bride and the groom hold 5 activation day. Oh my gosh. I love that. The 23 fives. That is going to be so powerful. And I love, love, love that they're choosing to get married on a 5 energy month. Knowing the numerology of when you start a contract with someone, such as a marriage, an engagement, purchasing a home, a partnership, this is so powerful. And if you have decisions like that to be made, I highly recommend you reach out to a numerologist and get them to look at, there's a few ways to look at it. You look at the energy of what's happening and the contract, but you also look at the energy of the individuals who are entering into a contract, because this is a co-creation, right? So I love that. Yes. I've been saying it for ages. Today I walked in and booked and paid 50%. So I can't back up now. Excellent. There's very few that, if any, that I would swap with, but there are lots who have things I need. This is a really good point. Very few, if any, I would swap with, but they have things I need. This is where discernment comes in, right? This is where it's like, I want to receive this medicine from you, but I discern my own energy and my own code, and I know what's going to work for me and what's not, right? It's not like just blindly applying. Right? So I think that's really, really powerful to recognize. All right. What else do I want to say about July? Give me a second to just quickly look at my calendar. The other sort of energy that's come up a little bit in July is this idea of what are the consequences of getting it wrong? I always have this feeling that when people are moving forward in life and in business, in their work and their soul's mission and sharing their soul gift and developing their intuition in relationship and anything, we have this feeling that there's like a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, that we have this feeling that like I have to step carefully. And while I would say it's definitely important to map out your path according to your nervous system, and what you can regulate, there is no such thing as a mistake. And so I really want you to think about, if you find yourself hesitating because you're like, what if I get it wrong? I want you to think about the question, like, what are the actual consequences of getting it wrong? What's the actual consequences of getting it wrong? Like, if I had this idea that I could mess something up, what would happen if I did? Like, what would happen if I fully accepted that outcome? Could I actually make friends with it and reduce some of the tension around it? Because if you make friends with it, if you accept it and reduce some of the tension around it, there's less tension in the field, which means it's going to be less of a draw. Either a draw in terms of you might accidentally manifest it, or a draw in terms of it's holding you back, right? And when I say accidentally manifest it, that is a misnomer, right? You're not accidentally manifesting anything because you can't get it wrong. But your soul might be like, how can I understand this scenario? How can I make sense of this scenario? And since we are very kinesthetic physical beings, we want to sometimes play it out to learn what happens, right? Like, well, what happens if I quote unquote get it wrong? What is the outcome? What is the scenario? Now I know, now I have wisdom. Exactly. It gives us the opportunity to choose again from a wiser place, from more experiential learning, from deeper wisdom and insight. Okay. Should we go into some dates? Are you guys ready to look at some specifics of the month? There's a few really important dates coming up that I want to go through with you. Where should we start? Starting on July 2nd, there is a very new cycle starting. It is one where we are looking to create a new relationship with wealth, money, and self-worth. Now, this is a relationship that numerologists understand quite well, right? There is a relationship between wealth, between physical abundance, right? So, and it doesn't have to be money. It can be assets and resources. It can be all kinds of different things that give you a higher quality of life, and worthiness. Because if you have a low level of self-worth, if you have a low level of worthiness, you aren't going to have an abundant relationship with assets and resources. And this comes down to the fact that because you don't feel worthy of accepting, you place up an energetic wall around it, meaning that either you don't see it or the resource doesn't see you, right? Simple things like, can I get the door for you? And can I buy you a cup of coffee? You say things like, I got this, I'm fine, and no thank you. And every time you do it, you're going like this, right? I've got this, I'm fine, no thank you. You're putting up a wall. You're saying, oh, the universe is trying to provide for me. And I'm like, I'm good, I've got this. Like, wait, what? Whereas the higher belief you have in your own divinity and your own worthiness, the easier it is for those things to flow to you, because you can say, yes, thank you. Yes, please. I would love that. What a delight. That makes me feel so happy. And your energy becomes interactive with the divine law of compensation. It creates this reciprocal vibe, this give and take vibe, where you actually get to receive more. Most of us downplay what it is to be on the giving end, right? Most of us don't understand energetically what happens when you give to someone. So let's say I'm the person that offers to buy you a cup of coffee, or that offers to hold the door open for you, and you say no thank you, and you block my generosity. That actually creates a repelling vibe, right? You can feel that there's like a shrinking that happens. Whereas if I say to you, can I hold the door for you, or can I buy you a cup of coffee? And you say, yes, please, I would love that. And you let your delight overflow around you, that is going to fuel me as the giver. That is my compensation. That's what I get to receive from choosing to give. And that's life force energy. Your delight Okay, take this. Take this as the like mantra for July. Okay, are you guys ready? My delight is life force energy. My delight is life force energy. When I delight, it fuels not only me, but it creates positive spin-off effects to everyone who gets to encounter my energy. That's why it's a gift when I accept and receive, right? Oh, it's such a good vibe. I love it. I got given a brand new shirt yesterday. Someone bought it and didn't like it and thought I would. And you're like, yes, thank you, universe. And so when you have that delight of receiving, everyone in your vicinity gets to benefit. It's such a good feeling. Okay, so there is some reprogramming available to us starting on July 2nd. There's a few ways you can support some reprogramming, some recoding of this worth, wealth, and worthiness energy. Number one, get yourself some sun codes. Go lay in the sun. Okay. Number two, practice saying yes, please, and thank you. And that's such a delight. And I appreciate that so much. Practice using language of delight. Okay. And be effusive, like be over the top with it because you're reprogramming, right? You're reprogrammed. So you're stretching a little bit and you're going to find a middle ground, but let yourself reprogram as much as possible on the second, the Sunday. Sun codes, energy of delight, and being like overly effusive, right? It's so fun. It's so fun to say, and it's so fun to be around people who are in energies of delight because delight's contagious, right? Delight is contagious. I mean, all energies are contagious to one degree or another, but we like experiencing the contagion of delight. Okay, so the third, full moon energy. Plus, we also have this reprogramming continuing on the 3rd. Now, the question to ask yourself on the 3rd of July is, can I devote to my fullness? Can I devote to my fullness? Do I let myself take up space, right? Do I let myself take up space? Like practice taking up space, like moving your body so that you can take up space. Do I let myself take up space? So if this is a practice that you've been working on, what I invite you to do is devote to your fullness, meaning be as slow as you want. Slow everything down. Be as present as you possibly can. Slow and deepen your breath. Slow and deepen your experiences and your emotions. Slow and deepen your requests and your asks. Slow and deepen how it feels to receive whatever you have to receive that day. Can you devote to your fullness? This energy is going to continue to flow for the rest of the week. But then we have a really interesting dynamic on Saturday the 8th up until the 11th. So between the 8th and the 11th, okay? Between the 8th and the 11th, we have new structures wanting to be established to create more security around our wealth that supports our freedom. So security to support our freedom when it comes to wealth and worthiness. Security to support freedom. This is the thing. Oftentimes when we love freedom, we resist structure. And oftentimes when we're really attached to structure, we experience a lack of freedom. But these are not meant to be at odds with each other. In fact, they're meant to coexist. The structures in your life should support your freedom, right? Your freedom gets to be more free because of certain structures that you put in place. And so between the 8th and the 11th, there's going to be this new relationship built around what are the structures I need to feel wealthy and worthy? And how do I anchor them in such a way that this establishes and supports my soul to feel free, right? Money, wealth, resources, a budget, tracking your finances, they're not meant to feel like a trap, right? They're not meant to feel like they hold you back and restrict you. In fact, when you budget with the energy of restriction, it's painful. Setting up systems that support wealth and finance allow you to feel expansively free are so powerful. And there's going to be some reprogramming and some recoding happening between the 8th and the 11th. And so just really letting yourself be open to it and asking yourself, what is the dance I am dancing between structure and freedom? What is the dance I am dancing, right? And knowing that you are being guided by your inner child and this energy of delight this month, of 5 energy. So letting that prevail, letting that be kind of like your guiding mantra whenever you're not sure what to do. Be like, well, what delights me? Do that. Do the thing that delights you. Okay. Next date I want to bring into mind is the 14th. So the 14th of July, there is this very interesting new manifestation cycle start. New manifestation cycle start. So this start, yes, it's a 4-day window between the 8th and the 11th that I just spoke to. So on the 14th of the month, we start a new manifestation cycle. So recognizing what is the manifestation I'm creating and letting yourself be in the felt sense of it. Remembering it's a 5 energy month. It's all about felt sense. It's heart, it's emotion. So if I want to start a new manifestation on the 14th, what do I want to feel? How is this going to feel? What are the things I'm doing going to create more of in my vibration, in my feeling, in my felt sense, right? This, if you follow Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, this is about charging your magnet. How do I charge my magnet with those feelings? Okay, so that's the 14th of the month. The 16th of the month, there is the energy of gathering. So if you have friends or family or loved ones, whether it's in person or virtual or whatever that looks like for you, I really recommend you reach out to a gathering. You even if it's just, I'm going to meet up with a couple friends for a walk, or I'm going to come together and we're going to have a cup of tea, or we're going to do a circle together, or we're going to, do some energy work together, or we're going to do some kind of swap of our sacred soul gifts together, whatever that is, mastermind, whatever, fun, just go on your paddle boards and play on the lake together. Spend some time with people you love and gather. The energy of that overflow, the idea that what you create together will spill over and create something even bigger and more beautiful for everyone is very strong on the 16th of the month. Okay. I'll make you a snack in a second. Okay. I'll be right there. We have school out, so we have my children potentially participating in calls for the next couple months, which I feel like you guys are pretty used to because that happened a lot over the last few years when we were out of school a lot. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about? Let's see here. If you have any particular dates, road trip. That would be a fabulous weekend to do a road trip. Absolutely. If you have any particular dates over the month of July that you want me to look at in particular, let me know. I'm just seeing if there's any other ones that I really want to speak to. The 25th. There's also the 17th. The 17th is a very strong creative window. So if you are someone who is creating work, creating a body of work, doing soul work, or an artist, we're all artists. We're all artists. You just need to ask yourself, what is my art? To me, business is my art. To me, my spirituality is my art. My Instagram account is my art. If you don't follow me on Instagram, come follow me on Instagram. It's art to me over there. Same with Facebook, same with all of it, right? So think about what is your art and letting yourself be really creative with your art on the 17th of the month. The next date I want to bring to mind is the 25th of July. The 25th of July is a really important date for lots of different reasons, but I'm going to speak to the numerology significance of the day. We actually have double 3 energy in this 5 energy month. And so it's really asking us to expand and amplify the abundance of freedom, to be creative and playful and apply fire energy to freedom. Feel that fire in your belly to want what you want, explore what you want, leap into what you want, try what you want, and to see what happens, right? It is a very strong manifestation day. It is an incredibly powerful day to attract abundance. So tapping into that energy on the 25th of the month will really help you grow and create things. You're going to want to be aware of your mindset, the thoughts that you're having, and you're going to want to choose them wisely. So here's the thing. When you know there's a day like this coming up, the 25th, very abundant, very strong manifesting day, I know that my thoughts are going to be critical that day because it's such a strong manifesting day. So the day before, I can ask myself, what do I need to do to set myself up for success? To make sure that the thoughts I'm having, the things I'm thinking about are in support of the life I want to live. Let me just like set myself up for success. I don't want to be reactive to it. So maybe that means you book a healing session. Maybe that means you take some time off work and go for a hike in the forest. Maybe that means you open up more meditation room in your schedule. Maybe that means you go to a sound bowl healing act. That would be golden. If any of you are sound healers, offer a sound healing on the 25th. That would be so powerful on that day. Okay. The next day I want to bring to mind is the 28th. And the 28th is a karmic love rebalancing window. And it's one of these ideas that really wants to come through on the 28th of the month of where is my love and compassion? Where is my heart? Where is my sense of ease in when it comes to relationship? Now, it's easy for us to have love and compassion to loved ones, right? It's harder to have compassion towards those that have hurt us, that we struggle with, that we butt heads with, that we maybe don't get along with, that have created difficulties in our lives, that have put us in painful situations. That's harder. But if you can embrace some compassion energy, compassion doesn't mean that you have bad boundaries. It doesn't mean you let them hurt you. It doesn't mean that you let them walk all over you. But it does mean that potentially you can love them from afar. You can establish the boundaries that create peace for you so that you can send them love and well wishes, right? There's going to be this beautiful karmic smoothing out of rough edges that happen on the 28th, but it wants us to play with it. Smoothing out the rough edges cannot happen without our participation and involvement. Involvement for an evolvement. How's that? Oh, booking for a massage the 25th or the 28th. My first feeling is the 28th, right? Because if you book a massage on the 28th and you let yourself receive that universal love feeling through the hands of the massage, and then let yourself be a conduit so that everything you touch is also touched with love afterwards, it is going to be this beautiful amplifying energy. Absolutely. The 25th would be great as well. But the 28th is really all about smoothing out the rough edges. And if we can dose some challenges with love and compassion, what type of harmony and karmic adjustments are available for all of us, right? For all of us. Imagine what would happen if everyone made a collective agreement to walk through life on the 28th of July, just with an extra compassion and with extra love in their hands, touching everything with love everywhere they go. I just think that's so, so, so beautiful. And then, yeah, that's basically what I have to say about the month of July. I will say that it does feel like there's some major cycles wrapping up near the end of the month. There is some completion energy. There is some letting go energy. And I really feel that this is related to this idea of when we dose with love and compassion, we can smooth out the rough edges that drop some of the tension, like I talked about earlier. And when you drop some of the tension and you reach a state of allowing and acceptance, it causes things to fade. It takes something from like sharp and rough to being like the polished rock in the rock tumbler. Like it's softer. It might not make it go away. It might, right? You do actually have quite a bit of energy of supporting of release by the end of the month. So it could completely disappear. But whether it completely disappears or not, the tension won't be there. And it's not the thing that's causing you issue. It's the tension of the thing that's causing you issue. Right? So yeah, that feels like a complete moment there. Um, the other invitation I would say to leave you with is, with the 7 energy year and July having an isolated 7 in it, give yourself compassion with your spiritual relationship. If you doubt, if you question, no, you are not your doubts. Just because you think it doesn't make it true, right? It's okay to wonder. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to say, I'm not sure, but like, what does my delight tell me? Like, if I don't know the answer to this, and it could be A and it could be B, what's more delightful? Let me choose that path. And then by choosing it, let me make it so. Does that make sense? I'd love to hear from you. This was a long one, guys. We're at 35 minutes. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for being here. My ask of you is twofold. Number one, tag a friend in this. Share it out on your social media. Like, imagine if we all got a handful of people to activate this energy of delight in July, what that's going to do for the ripple effect of the collective. It's going to be incredibly beautiful. So, number one, share it to some people who you know need to see this. And number two, post in the chat. Let me know, what's your takeaway? What did you get from this? What's the thing you needed to hear that's going to help you, that's going to support you? That's that one thing. I talked a lot, guys, 36 minutes at this point. I know I talk a lot. I don't expect you to take it all. You can actually re-listen a couple times if you want throughout the month. But my hope for you is that you heard one thing. And that one thing becomes like your golden nugget, the little piece that you can take with you that supports you through the month of July. And if you have that one thing, it's like the rock in your pocket or the crystal in your bra. It's like, if I have that one thing, it's going to keep me anchored to what I know is going to support me this month. Yay. I love it. My tattoo is part of owning my spiritual self. I think that's beautiful. I hope you'll send me a DM of the picture or tag me in it when you're done so I can see. I just think that's so beautiful. And thank you, friend, for posting or tagging friends in this. And if you guys have any questions, if replayers, if you're like, oh, I wish she would have talked to this date or that date, post it in the comments and tag me, and I'll come back and I'll reply and let you guys know. The final thing I want to say is I am continuing to open the doors for my content membership, the Magical Magnetic Content Membership. And what this is it's a very inexpensive membership. It's just $27 a month. But if you want to share your work with the world, if you want to share your gifts, to share your work, to share your words, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a light worker, if you're an energy worker, if you're a coach, if you're a healer, even if you have a traditional business model, but you want to share at the soul level, I use numerology prompts and guidance to help you connect energetically with your soulmate clients. And I also share a very, very simple strategy that can take one idea into a week's worth of content. So this is what the membership is all about. We meet together twice a month. I have strategies I share with you. I've got these numerology content prompts I share with you. And it's really fun because on one of the calls in a month, we actually open up an energetic portal to support you to write and express to your soulmate clients. And this is a way to really open up your ability to share and express your work in the world. So if you're someone who's struggled with speaking about what you do, or wanted to get easier or more natural or more in flow, definitely come and check us out in the Magical Magnetic Content, or you can DM me to ask me if it's a fit for you. You can join and cancel at any point in time. No big deal at all. Yes. Blending numerology and astrology is so powerful. I love that. Numerology works really well with other modalities. So you can absolutely combine it with other things that you're doing, whether it's another divination tool, whether it's energy work, whether it's coaching. There's lots of different ways that you can use numerology in your work. I know. We're hungry, so we're going to go. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. And I hope to see some of you in the content membership. And I'm looking forward to your comments in the chat. Mwah. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.